One can have no smaller or greater mastery than mastery of oneself. Well, my friends, the market did not make it easy for us, at least on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for this Friday. Markets down again as I'm recording this a little bit early, about 35 minutes before the markets close today. Could turn around in the last half hour. But what we see right now is stocks are down. The S&P 500 down about 0.5%. And what has it done to the candle for this week? Well, nonetheless, it has broken through the trend line, and that's significant enough. And we can see price movement only barely piercing that trend line. Really, it's almost all above. And we have a doji. And look at this. We have a good bit of volume. Now, we had really high volume as it was pinging its way down, and as it's trying to rotate over and go up, we see all this volume. Now, if we look back in time and try to find something similar, we see a spinning top here after lots of volume seeking a down place and then moving over. So that shows us, at least as far as this 12% move, that was something that occurred. And we go, again, as we just sort of track back in time on the same chart, we see again lots of volume finding a bottom, then turning around with a spinning top. If we go on back here, again, nothing helps us there. Well, about average volume. And we go even further back in time. Here we go. Here's another finding a bottom. And then look at the volume that you see. Let me move. This thing pops up here. But you can see again where high volume, green spinning top where it turns around and moves up. So we see some evidence of this working in the past, showing us that indeed things have bottomed. Do we see down movement again with above average volume with a fake out? Remember how we didn't jump into this one? Didn't feel good about it. Volume really dropped off. It popped up and then just sort of caved on us. Well, again, we're not seeing that here. We're seeing above average volume. So this might be a sign when we couple volume with the actual movement, that is the price movement, the Heikin Ashi candlestick, that things are taking off. So are you going to make a move before the end of the day on Friday to take advantage of this? Well, that's a question that you will have answered by the time you listen to this training. That would, of course, been based on all the training you'd had before from us. Backtracking, understanding volume, all that teaching that we have given you in the past, how to use the Heikin Ashi candlestick. So we do see a reason for it. If, however, you wait, and again, you want to see further, stronger movement, you don't feel comfortable with this doji, I understand that. Again, use what you've seen in the past, use what you're seeing now, use fake outs that you've seen previously, put all that together, and always make your decision. And then you set your profit and loss bands, and you let the market tell you what's happening. Now we move on to the NASDAQ 100. We see a green candle here as, of course, it starts to, it's moved up for the week, broken the trend line. You can see where it weakened last week with above average volume. We're right there, just barely above average volume with a green spinning top. Now, again, as we look at the last move here, again, we can see where the volume dropped off, can't we? It was finding a bottom, then it dropped off, showing that it wasn't really moving up with enthusiasm. And then, of course, it rotated over and moved down. Check this one out. Here's a spinning top. Again, lots of volume, preceded by lots of volume where it was finding a bottom. What about here? Well, this one doesn't help us very much as we look at where, this one here, as we tried to find a bottom, you can see, let me move, there was no high volume here, not very helpful. However, when we get over here and we see the volume trying to ping, again, it popped up, then sort of had a weak, and then popped up again and that's when it took off and gave us something. We go back over here, and again, this is a different chart from the S&P. This is the NASDAQ. Not seeing anything there volume-wise. We can see where it wanted to find the bottom here, but again, no average or higher than average volume to take off for us. Again, we have a doji here. Things do move up enough to give us the ability to have caught something here, but then, of course, shave down very quickly. So, again, looking at the NASDAQ, having broken through here, this little bit above average volume can, of course, be a trigger. We, of course, look at our other charts as we see things today, really on the NASDAQ in particular, really hammering down, weakness on the 2-day, lots of weakness on the half-day, so things to consider. This is what practice trading and training is all about, learning how the particular ETF and stock you are tracking and trading works. And you only learn that how? By practice trading it. Let's look at where we are on 20-year bonds. Again, second 2-day candle after we pushed through the weekly trend line, but we can see the half-day still sort of hanging on it, although overall bonds up 1.67% right now. But we can see that, of course, we still have a red candle on the weekly, lots of volume. Could it be finding a bottom? Well, we'll know when this next week starts if we see a breakthrough on that Heikin-Ashi candlestick on an up move. But, of course, bonds have been very good to us since we garnered that 2.10% down move and then had all this action here till we started seeing this rising tide and breakthrough on that 2-day chart. Gold really pounding up for the day, 3.23%. Look at this latest 2-day candle, up in the morning, further up in the afternoon. We saw gold start accelerating up last Friday, the 23rd of October, and it's almost been untouched as we see it move through. First day of the latest 2-day candle, really moving up. Hasn't broken the trend line yet, but look at all that volume. Look at the volume where it found its bottom. So we will be paying attention to gold. How many of you are jumping into it this afternoon? It's not broken the trend line yet. Is there a good reason to do that? That'd give me some trepidation there. But we will watch with all the volume that we see there. Lastly, we will go to Bitcoin, up a little bit for the day, 0.30%. You can see where Bitcoin's meandered up and down on this half-day chart and the 2-day chart, moving back down below on both of them, the weekly trend line. So not much trending there with this pretty flat trend line anyway. So not super excited about Bitcoin. That's where we are as the end of the week. Lots of excitement here. Going to see how this new week starts and whether we see swings up or down on the S&P 500, NASDAQ 100, 20-year bonds, and gold. Just, again, this is what makes it so fascinating. I hope you enjoy this as much as I do. Patreon members, thank you for all of your support. If you're not a Patreon member, encourage you to become one. First thing you get is 3-wave trading, and of course, you get our Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. God bless, my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.